Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get things sorted. There's something I've missed. I don't have the charger on. Sorry, guys. Hello, hello. Welcome to Beacon of Hope, our Friday special program where we feature different topics. And I know that guys are looking forward. I know people are excited about what's going to happen today. And trust me, you will be inspired, you will learn, you'll be motivated, and you will be asking for more. I believe, I know that's what's going to happen. And I did promise, and I said in our program, we teach, we inspire, we motivate, whatever we can do to make sure that people's lives are changed, and particularly our community. And that is why every time if I get an opportunity, I always like bringing our own people who we can relate with very well. And tonight, that is exactly what I'm going to do. And just before we begin, I always tell you that I want to really talk about TapTap. Those of you who are Kenyans, in Europe, in UK, sending support back home. There's no better way. And trust me, it's been proved by so many people who have called back, who have come back to me and told me, yes, ma'am, I believe you. Because TapTap, we've got the highest rate of exchange. TapTap is reliable. TapTap is fast. TapTap is efficient. You can't compare. And no hidden charges whatsoever. Whatever you see, if the rate is 150 to the pound, if the rate is 147, we always been the highest and no hidden charges. So let's see. I always like reminding you, TapTap.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumakitu.
Thank you. And of course, our Kiswahili, which we proudly talk about, Tumakitu. Send support back to Kenya. TapTap is the way. And now, as I'm waiting for you to share, because I promise you, our young people will be inspired, our young people will learn, our young people will be motivated. But please invite them. Share the screens with them. Get them there listening, because I'm just about to bring our youngest, did you hear that? Our youngest elected councillor in London. Yes, and when I say youngest, yes. Can you believe she sits with me in the office, in the council chambers in her early 20s? And she manages. And on top of that, academically, she's top class. She's done so much. So I just thought, you know what? We need to get more of our people to come and be inspired. And as I'm saying this is because I want you to continue sharing, to invite more people. We would like as many people to be inspired by the talks. Parents, those of you who are here, please, 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 please. I hope you're watching with your children. Let us learn from those who have been there. Let us get our children motivated, because they look at us. If I come to talk to them, they say, oh, you see, auntie, or whatever, you've been there many years, so that's how you've done it. Let's show them that it's their time. My motto and my slogan, I like telling people that with the young people, we are not talking about the leaders of tomorrow. We talk about the leaders of today. And yes, it is possible. And to show that it is possible, I'm going to bring my guest tonight, who I call my daughter, even in the chambers. Obviously, when I'm addressing her officially, I'll not. But she's my daughter, and I love this girl so much. We had her mom, who is also a colleague councillor. We're going to talk about that. We had her 2 weeks ago, and she's so humble, this girl. Her mom too. She's my sister, her mom, and so this girl is my daughter. And our guest tonight, and you're not sharing. I'm not going to bring her until I've seen enough people. Esther Duta, have you shared my sister? Kijo, have you shared? Lucas, have you shared? Have you invited the young people in SEC? Get them all here watching. Bring the youth in SEC. We need to inspire them. They need to hear this. Come on, let's have more of our young people. I am waiting. And if it means waiting and we share more, I'm not tired. I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait. I'm going to give you time. Kindly, please, kindly. There's no harm in sharing twice. Yes, you can share twice. I can see Esther Duta, you're there. I can see Lucas, you're there, my brother. Come on, share. Let us get our people to come here and learn. They need to hear. Our young people need to learn from those who have been there. And so without much further ado, I'm going to bring Counselor Princess. I'll start off again. Counselor Elizabeth Princess. I'm going to use that type because she's my namesake, my daughter, Princess Bright. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Ma. Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm truly honored to be on Beacon of Hope this Friday evening.
Amen. You know how much I love you, daughter. You know how much I've been looking forward to this, because I always tell you, and it's not the first time, even the day one when you got into those council chambers, I congratulated you and I keep looking at you and saying, yes, our young people need to know, and more so Christian youth.
Yes.
I couldn't leave out that. So would you like to introduce yourself? I could have pronounced your name. Introduce yourself. Let the people hear as they continue inviting and sharing. And don't forget, we are also live on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Beacon. If you go Beacon of Hope Beacon, you can follow us from there, like us, subscribe, and also on Facebook pages. Please, let us flood our Facebook pages with this program. Over to you, my dear.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. As I've mentioned, it's a great honor and privilege to be on Beacon of Hope this Friday evening. What better way to spend my Friday evening than talking about Christianity, youth, leadership, and politics? Wow, fantastic. So a bit about myself. My name is Councillor Princess Elizabeth Bright. I was elected as a Labour Party councillor in the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, aged 22. In 2018, and since joining the council, I was appointed as the chair of the Audit and Standards Committee in 2019 and have been in that position since then. Now, a bit about my background and my profession. I'm a first-class graduate in accounting and finance.
Can you say that? Can you say that bit again? Because I don't want people to think I am exaggerating. Say that again outside the council.
I will. I'm a first-class accountant and finance graduate, and most recently in January of 2020 became a qualified chartered accountant with the ACCA body. So yes, I'm really happy about that. I currently work in internal audit at Deutsche Bank, so I'm currently balancing two roles within investment banking and also within local politics, which I really do love. And also, of course, on Sundays, a lot of time is spent at my dad's church. So I'm a pastor's daughter and heavily involved in the choir and also our newly formed youth ministry, which is thriving by God's grace.
Do you know, I just want people to listen to this and hear that, because people think, politicians and auntie, maybe she's exaggerating because she wants us to tune in. She wants us to hear all this. Listen again. Councillor Princess Bright was elected as the youngest councillor in the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, and that is in the whole of London. So it's not just here at age 22. Where were you? Most of our children are thinking, 22, I'm still too young, And now, chartered accountant at Dosh. I can't even want to say that. And she's a first class. Hey, did you hear that? First class. Obviously, if she doesn't blow her own trumpet, who else is going to say that? She's not just a graduate. She's a first class. You see? So there's brains and the beauty, as you can see. And another thing she said, her parents, both mom and dad, are pastors. Now listen to this. Most of us think as Christians, should we engage in politics? And particularly, do you think it's the right thing? Do you think it's the right thing? Right. At 22, Esther Duta is saying, still biting my nails to hear at 22 what she's doing. Right. Councillor Princess Bright, Can you tell us, why did you think of going into politics? Who motivated you? Start from there.
Really great question. Everywhere I go, anywhere I speak at, I always say my main motivation is my mother, and she knows this. There's a saying that a river that forgets its source runs dry. I can never forget my source being my mother. From young, when my mum was campaigning to become elected in Hackney, out of my siblings, I was the diligent one who was really interested in the work of my mum. So in Hackney, there's a lot of high-rise buildings. I would follow her campaigning. The little that I knew, I was very young then, but the little that I could do, putting leaflets indoors, just speaking here and there, vote for my mum, vote for my mum. Of course, I wasn't really that politically educated because I was young.
Vote my mum, vote my mum, vote my mum.
My mum, yes, I could help her as much as I could. And then, of course, when she was then appointed the mayor of Hackney, I was her official consort alongside my dad. So that's when I really gained a lot of intangible experience, and I was really exposed to what it is to be the first hand lady of a borough, because she was the mayor, and I was going along with her to many ceremonial events, religious events, fundraising events, charitable events. And I really thought, wow, this is so interesting. And even if I look at myself and some of the skills and traits that I believe God has given to me, in university, I was a senior student ambassador. In secondary school, I was deputy head girl. So I've always taken on leadership positions, always speaking up on behalf of others, always advocating on behalf of others. So it's always been second nature to me to have kind of that selfless characteristics that you need to have as a local politician. I say that because you're putting yourself in the shoes of others. You are essentially fending for others. And having that experience through school, through university, and then moving into Havering, then being elected as the young leader, I had all of this experience. It was just building up to them becoming elected as a councillor. And what I'm really happy about is my MP, John Cruddas, when I moved to this, when we moved to Dagenham and Rainham constituency, he was very, very, very helpful and supportive of myself to really push me to stand in to become elected. So my mum, she's definitely the foundation that supports me. And of course, I can't forget God. God has been with me from the beginning to the end. He has supported me. He has shown me through visions that, yes, this is what your calling is, my daughter. And I've really just gone through it, pursued through it. Of course, I've had obstacles, and I'm sure many people, especially those of us who are in the Black community as councillors and politicians, can resonate with me that we've had obstacles where we've gone out campaigning, we've had some racist remarks made at us, but because I know God is behind me and the purpose I have for my life and the calling I have for my life is to serve others, I've just been really good with it and been pushing on. And here I am today, 3 years elected as a councillor, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Absolutely wonderful. And it's good to hear that your mom was your best source of inspiration, the one you know, she exposed you, because this is good for us parents to know that, because some parents sometimes would say, I don't want to expose my child into the public so much because of blah, 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 you know. So look, this is where you saw it all and you thought, you know, I should also give it a go. That exposure. So that's one point that parents should learn, that exposing, obviously in the right direction. Yes. We're not saying you expose your children to pubs and all these wrong places, but in the right places. So when Councillor Bright, now the mom, was the mayor of Hackney, she exposed Councillor Princess Bright. I always say, when I was chairing assembly, I had to say which Bright, because you've got mom and daughter there, so we have to be really very, very careful. But obviously, even as a Black community, I must say we are really so proud of you, to have you sitting with us, to have you challenging, to have you have that confidence and sitting with us and thinking, you know, not because my mom is there. When you're in the chamber, I never hear you address her as mom. I hear you saying Councillor Bright, which is, you know, you can tell, you can differentiate between home life and now when you are there in the community and working. Now, tell us more about your education, where your background, which I think that is where I should have started from, you know, where you came from, where you were born here, you know, bits about your siblings. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Yes, of course, I can for sure. So I'm... so I have 2 siblings, a younger sister and an older brother. We were all born and raised in Hackney. So we're all born and raised in Hackney. We all had our primary life as our primary school in Hackney before we moved to the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham. Now, a bit about myself. Actually, I should say a bit about my father. So my father, Pastor Bolohan Bright, MBE, he was actually awarded an MBE from Her Majesty the Queen for his services to education in East London. And that's where I think the real motivation for myself, my sister, my brother, we all three graduated with first class honors, because my dad really, he instilled in us.
Can you tell people that, just to hear that it's possible, we can do it? Because some people think, oh, politics is those dropouts, those people who cannot. No, we need more people who can challenge the policies, people who understand. Can you say a bit more about your siblings again?
Yes,
people need to hear.
My sister is a first class graduate in economics, and my brother is a first class graduate in financial management and mathematics.
Woo! Listen to that family, the background. The dad is a teacher also, and he runs a lot of programs, education programs in the barrack, free. He just does a lot. And the mom too, whom I call my sister, is my very good friend. She does a lot of charity work. She gives back to the community. They are one family who I know who very well neat. Very well, mom came the other day and people are saying, no, you don't look like a grandma. You're still too young for that. She said, yes. And I know, I'm a witness. I attended the brother's wedding. And obviously now I know, Princess Bright is an auntie. Now, a bit more about growing up. Can you tell us some of the challenges? You did say, obviously, growing up and being born as a Black child, obviously, there's nothing about letting people know what people have gone through. Obviously, we don't have that anymore back in Dagenham. We thank God for the community cohesion which is existing. But growing up, so that people can know things can happen and you can be able to overcome. Tell us some of the challenges in your childhood, maybe in school and all that.
Yes, so growing up as a young female in Hackney, should I say, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And I say this because back then in the day, there was a lot of stereotypes about young Blacks, whether it be male or females. And for me, it was a case whereby I had to really try and focus my energy away from the stereotypes that I would see so that I could progress, because those stereotypes, what they do is they really make us think a certain way, and they make us limit ourselves from wanting to progress, from wanting to achieve, because we see what the news is saying, we see what the media outlets are saying, we see what the statistics say. The statistics say young Black females will never succeed, young Black males will never succeed. We see it, but one thing is, it's your mindset. And I really, really, really had to really fix my mindset in the sense that I know what my calling is. I know that I'm destined for success. But one thing that's lucky for me was because I had the God factor. For those young Black females who may not have the God factor in them, it's so easy for them to get carried away by the things of the world, carried away by peer pressure, carried away by negative friends or people around them who don't have that same vision as them. And one thing I really do want to emphasize today is for us to really focus on who our friends are, who our friendship group is. Because for me, my parents were really strict about that. Very, very, very strict. And I say that in the sense that my dad specifically, he always had to be very cautious of the friends that we hanged around with. Because there's a saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Absolutely. If you hang around with negative people, you'll end up being negative. And it's just because of your surroundings. It's just common, right? So for me growing up, I had to be very cautious to make sure I was hanging around with the right people, going to the right parties, going to the right events, making sure I was socializing with the right people, just so that my brain would always be focused on a good future, progression. Because growing up in Hackney, it was not easy, especially on a council estate. I'll be very open and honest, on a council estate whereby on a daily basis you see the police come in, raiding down doors, knocking down doors, you see gang members around you. As a young female, so easy to be lured into being with gang members. They give you money to do this kind of very bad things that you shouldn't be doing so young. But like I said, I had a vision for myself, and I knew that I'm destined for greatness. I'm destined for great things. I'll say this to myself on a regular basis, and that's what really kept me focused. But I look back now, and I know some of my friends that I grew up with, and the story's not the same for them. Why? Because they didn't have that kind of encouragement. They didn't have that good support system around them. So for any young person who's listening to this, one thing I really want to emphasize to you is just look around your immediate circle. Are the friends that you keep friends that are encouraging you on a daily basis? Or are they friends who come to talk to you about gossip, come to talk to you about what's happening that isn't going to progress or add any value in your life? I say that because gone are the days whereby you can talk, gossip. Time is going, things are ticking, people are progressing, technology is advancing, things are moving on, people are becoming millionaires with their eyes closed. So things are progressing. So if you're wasting your time with people who are genuinely not pushing you, who are not advancing you, then you'll start to realize that you'll be left behind. And that's why I try to keep abreast with what's happening in the current 21st century, because as I've said, things are moving and we have to move on with time. We have to keep moving on with time. So yeah, that's a bit about
one thing I've learned and I've had today, your mindset. It's very, very important, because some of us, even us as adults, we've come across a time when maybe someone just said something and we fix that so much in our mind and we start saying, oh, all these people are racist and all that. It could be just one drop of water in the ocean. So I love the idea, what you said, it's all in the mindset. It's not that you didn't hear all these things. It's not that you didn't experience them, but you decide to focus. You walk away from all that. It could be just one person. It could be just one family. Just like even us, the Black people, we are the same. But some of us keep on up to this minute. There are those people who keep saying, oh, this country is so racist, this country. What are you doing then? Come on. So I love that idea of it's in the mindset. Focus. Think, what am I doing? And again, I love the way you really talk about your parents and your parents being there for you, directing you, checking on your friends. And you, as you grew up, checking on what kind of friendship, what kind of parties am I going to, what kind of associations do I have? It all comes also with parenting, yes. But also you as an individual making that determined effort of knowing this is the focus. This is where I want to go. This is the kind of life. Now, tell us a bit more about now choices of uni and all that, choices of schools, because as we talk, like I told you, you've got so many parents here. So you're talking to some of us as parents, and also some of them are sitting with their young people. And again, as we continue, my dear friends, my dear viewers, I am still encouraging you, kindly share. Kindly share. If this is empowering you, if this is motivating you, if you are learning anything, kindly share. Let us not just keep it to ourselves. Let us, this message needs to be disseminated. Our young people need to hear, because it's not every day we come across the youngest elected councillor in London, not in Nigeria where her parents come from. And it's not just in Barking and Dagenham where we live, it's in the whole of London. And I can tell you, she has succeeded. She is doing wonders, showing us that it is possible. It is possible to have young people in leadership who are delivering, So tell us a bit more about like school choices and all that. Yes. And I'm really happy to see all the people who are tuning in, who are watching. Kindly share. And also visitors, follow us on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Bacon. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. So in terms of university choices, I decided to stay in London for my university. And why? Because, of course, in the back of my mind, as much as I really wanted to move away from home and get that university experience, as young people, they like to move out of the house. They say get that university experience, that independence without living with your parents. In the back of my mind, I also knew that I had a goal to get involved in local politics. And for me to be involved in local politics, I had to be active. I need to be on ground. I need to be seen. I need to be heard. So because of that, I made that conscious decision to stay in London and to stay at home. So for university, I actually was commuting. So commuting for 3 years. I went to University of Westminster, which is in Baker Street. So I was commuting 45 minutes there and back to university. And for me, it was a really good decision for me. And I say this because even at my university, as I mentioned, I studied accounting with finance. I was also able to get involved in extracurricular activities like the debating community, which I chaired for 1 year. So, of course, that also helped me with my public speaking. I was also a senior student ambassador, which was a paid role, which for me was great to have a paid role during university, where I was essentially, should I say, the face of the university, speaking to new undergraduates, people who are wanting to come to university, selling the university essentially. And also I was also able to keep fit. So I joined the school's netball team and I was captain for a period of time, and I really enjoyed it. So for me, being in London for university meant that I was able to also still be on ground, get involved in Saturday campaigning sessions, get involved in things that are happening locally, local youth events, local charitable events, and at the same time gain my degree. So that's the main reason why I decided to stay in London, because a lot of people usually ask me this: Princess, you didn't go out into the Midlands, you didn't go to Coventry, you didn't go to out into the Midlands to get that, should I say, that fresh of breath, that breath of fresh air away from the parents.
Outside,
but I didn't really need it per se, because my parents, should I say, even though they're strict, they're also very understanding in the sense that they know I'm growing older. I'm turning 26 in September now, so of course now it's about moving on to the next stage of my life, which God willing, I'm sure in the next couple of years we'll be talking marriage, we'll be talking kids. In the next couple of years, that's what the next stage is. But during the university phase, it was really for me to focus, do well in my academics, and also balance my local passion for activism.
Wow, it's blowing my mind. You know, this girl, you look at her, you wouldn't believe. I can see people commenting, and, you know, can I also ask if you've got any questions, anything that you'd like to ask? If you put it there on the chat, or if you want to inbox me private chat, I'll read it through. If you don't want your name, we can always do that, because we are here, like I say, beacon of hope. We want to inspire, we want to motivate, we want to learn. You know, if you are being inspired, or if you've got anything that you'd like to know, how can we get involved? All these, you know, just DM me, or you can actually put that in the chat box, and then we can move on. And, you know, as we continue, once again, is Beacon of Hope, my Friday talk show. And tonight you have a very special guest, who is the youngest elected councillor in London. And this is Councillor Princess Bright. And we are talking about Christian youth in leadership. Councillor Princess Bright did say that she's a first-class graduate, and again, she's a daughter of pastors. Her dad and mom are pastors. Her dad is a teacher, is a lecturer, and her mom is also a colleague councillor. I hosted her a few weeks ago, so it's quite interesting that they share. You know, they sit alongside each other in the chambers, mom and daughter. But you will never see that relationship when they are in the chambers. They are just there, independent. They are councillors. They are working. When they go back home, it's a different case. And Princess Bright has also said that she participates so much in church, in the choir, in the youth ministry. You know, people might be wondering, how can I get our children to do this? But she has said it's all in the mindset and prioritizing, focusing. You have just heard it. Yes, she said it. A few years, you know, in few years' time, she'll be thinking marriage now, children, moving out. She's still with her parents. But can you see? Focused. Not even ashamed of saying yes. Because most of us will be thinking, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want now to start thinking of marriage. Yes, she knows she's 26 now, and she's thinking, yes, maybe in the next 1, 2, 3 years, we'll be talking about marriage, being another person. But look, she has her priorities. Now, somebody asked here, and I'm encouraging people to ask, what has been the greatest challenge as a young leader in the council? Just freely, because they are there. I know their challenges. Over to you.
I'll be honest with you. I would say one of the biggest challenges, knowing how old I am, so being the youngest. And I say that because sometimes I look around the room and I look around the chamber, and I just sometimes have self-reflection. I think, wow, am I really this age? Am I really a councillor? Am I really elected? Is this really for real? So I won't say it's a challenge, but it's been a lot. It's just been a lot to really take in. It's been overwhelming, because even more recently, when I was appointed the chair of our Audit and Standards Committee, chairing that meeting and knowing the breadth of kind of knowledge and experience you should have to chair it, and having the, should I say, the backing of my members, of the senior members, of the leader, of the deputy leader, to kind of vote me and put me in that position, that for me was, should I say, so for real. So knowing my age, it sometimes is a challenge for me, because I feel like, oh my days, I'm the youngest person in this room. I'm representing the voice of all of the young people. Make sure I'm speaking up for them. Make sure I'm saying the right thing. Make sure I'm doing the right thing. Make sure I don't say the wrong thing. Do you see what I mean? So I think it's more my age, just in the back of my mind, just having that thought, oh gosh, I'm so young.
Oh dear, we seem to, okay, are you back? We seem to have lost, okay, are you back?
Hello?
Yeah, you're back, yeah? Yeah,
yes.
So this is internet. Don't worry, it's called internet, and these things, you know, these things do happen. So it's more of being conscious of. As you sort out, come on, go ahead and sort out. And people, I'm always well prepared. Sharifa, I know you've got just a second as Princess Bride sorts herself out. Sharifa, what do you have to say as we sort out what is your learning? What is your take?
First of all, a big congratulations to you. Big congratulations. It's really empowering to see that representation in places where Black women from minority are actually occupying the spaces. So for me, it's very inspiring. Princess is younger than me, but I had so many questions for her. I want to ask her, at what point did she say, wow, I'm going for leadership? I feel that this is my calling from God. And so I want her to tell me, to just tell us what is.
Right. I'll bring her back, and I'll bring you back in a bit because I want you to talk about Tap Tap. Okay, Princess Bride, I know you are cut short, but go ahead.
So sorry for the interruption. And yes, what a fantastic question. And thank you so much for your kind words. For me, I think what made me really go for it was when I was actually elected. So I was standing in a ward, in Eastbrook ward, which I would say is quite a marginal ward. And when I won that election, it made me realize, wow, the sky's the limit. I'm really going to push, keep going, keep being a voice for the young people, keep being a voice for BAME young women. Because even if we look at the landscape of politics itself, BAME young women were underrepresented in the boardrooms, in society, in banks, in all facets of life were underrepresented. So when I was elected, and I really took it in that day. I remember vividly May 2018 when I was elected. I said, yes, this is the beginning and it's not going to end. It's just the beginning of greater to come. So that was the day, the turning point in my life, I must say.
Somebody wants to know your biggest highlight. It might not be in the council. What is your best moments that you'd really like to share? And if you feel you don't want to share, just remember it's a talk show. You don't have to give whatever you do not have. I know you're always prepared. Over to you.
Definitely qualifying as a chartered accountant. And I say this because those exams were not easy. Doing them alongside being a counsellor, doing them alongside working 9 to 5, then coming home and having to study till late on weekends, having no social life, having to go to the library to get those ACC exams out of the way and pass. That, I think, when I finished the last exam and I got my membership that came through the door, I was dancing for joy. I remember my mum was screaming. She even was crying tears of joy because she knows how hard I worked for it. So I think for me, that was my greatest achievement. And I'm so thankful for God for the tenacity that I had to keep going, because studying plus working plus council plus residence plus campaigning plus family plus church is not easy. I'm thankful to God that I was able to complete it at a great record time.
So I'll follow up with that. How do you juggle all this? And as a young person, you want to go out with your friends, you still don't have a family. You might be having friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, church people. How do you juggle with all this? Are there times when you feel like, I think I'm missing out on something? Definitely.
Yes, there are definitely times. I think around the period of time when I was doing my accountancy exams, I had a boyfriend at the time, and I'll be very open and transparent. And I realized that it wasn't healthy for me to be in a relationship while trying to do all of that I was doing, because I just didn't really have the time. So due to mutual agreement, we decided to part ways so that I could really focus. And I think it was the best thing for me to do, because I believe, and I know this is even biblical, there's a season for everything. You need to plant your seeds so that they can eventually reap. So what you sow, you will reap. So for me, it was about reaping my hard work, my dedication, my time, my persistency, just so that I could really reap the benefits of passing my exams, of being elected, of getting promotions at work, etc. And I think the time's now coming now when I've passed my exams. I've been a counsellor for one term, so 4 years. I've really got into the role. It's now time to then move on to thinking about long-term relationships, marriage. That's what I'm saying. It's all a progression. But at that point in time, how I was juggling things wasn't the best way. I think I tried to be as organized as I can, like I had a calendar, but it wasn't easy at all. Like there were times when I was literally sitting down in my room, it would be like midnight and I'm about to pull out my accountancy books to study, or my friends will call me out and I'm like, no, I can't come. And I've really felt bad for them, because I have good friends who were very supportive around the period of time, but I didn't want it to be as if, it's just my books, and I don't care about my friends. But it was becoming like that just because of how focused I was. But I think now, as I've passed those exams, and that's one chapter of my life out of the way, I'm now I'm now focusing on prioritizing. What do I really want to focus on now? What's the next steps for me? What is it that I want to accomplish next? And I think for me, I've put in a lot of effort into my career, into my passion, into my work. I think it's time to really now work on more my social life and try and, as I said, progress to the next stage of my life, which is hopefully to have a family, become married one day soon.
Good. Now, can you tell me where now in your life does your Christian walk come in? Is there any way you feel that was an influence, that was a factor to put into consideration? Your faith, tell us.
My faith played a huge part in my journey in life from when I was born even till today. And I say that in the sense that even take away the fact that I have very, very spiritual parents who are pastors. I think for me, it was the case whereby I knew that God had a special calling on my life. And I say that because even from school, I was always recognized for leadership awards. I'm even trying to remember all the awards that my parents would be called to back in school, in secondary school and university. Leader of this year, this leader, deputy head. Like, I was always taking up leadership roles. So it was clear for me that, yes, my mouth, God has given me this power, my tongue, I'm using it in the right way. But there's one hurdle in my life that I had to really overcome. And that was when I had one contract of employment, and essentially the head of that, the director of HR, said to me, "Princess, we have heard that you are standing to be a local councillor, but this isn't in line with our code of conduct. So for us, we're giving you this ultimatum: you stay with us on this really, really good contract, or you have to step down." And I resigned. So that was very, very, very big decision that I had to take. But I'm so happy I took that decision, because that was where faith came in. I resigned knowing that God knows what's best. God has the final say. And as I resigned, an even better job came for me that supported me in my political career and enabled me to keep going on. So one thing I must say is, when God is for you, who can be against you? Nobody can be against you, because he essentially has the final say, and he's already written it. It's prescribed. Before we were born, he knew the plans for our lives. Hallelujah. And he said we will never fail. We shall always, 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 always progress. And that has been the case for me. Of course, I've had some down times. I'm not going to come on the show today and say it's all been rosy, it's all been good, it's all been excellent. No, I've had my downfalls, I've had my obstacles, but with God by my side, I've been able to overcome them and keep progressing.
So you'd really say that your faith and trust in God has been one major factor that has brought you this far?
Yes, indeed.
Now, what is your take, or what is your advice to the young people who are planning on taking on to leadership? Would you tell them to take time? Would you tell them, anything that you'd want to tell them? I don't want to put words in your mouth, because for me, I always keep saying, because it took me long. I keep giving this example of the people who are my dad's age. When I became a teacher, I was teaching with some of the teachers who are my teachers. Wow. When I became a head teacher, I was their head teacher. Some of them who were my teachers, and I was thinking, just like you, because I became a head teacher at age 24, which was very rare in Kenya. Then I looked at when I was trying to get into leadership, the people, and actually I say this with all due respect, the people who are some still sitting in office, and that is back home, they are the same age with my dad. And I'm here and I'm feeling now, at my moment now, I'm feeling that I'm getting to that stage where I should be handing over to you. What would you tell the young people when it comes to leadership? Because that is one area that I want us to talk about.
Yes, I believe that leadership is a two-way thing. So number one, you must know who you are trying to inspire. You must know who you're trying to lead, should I say, essentially. Now, for me, I had a real keen focus on the BAME community. And I say that because even when you look around the room, whether it be in finance, whether it be in creative arts, whether it be in law, whether it be in academics, whether it be in politics, BAME people or BAME young people are underrepresented. So I wanted to be a beacon of hope, sit in this position, get elected, to make them realize, wow, if Princess can do it, I can do it. And one thing I've realized through just speaking to young people is they're usually inspired when they see someone who looks like them, dresses like them, speaks like them, acts like them, can relate to them in a position that they're looking to get to. Because it's easy for you to say, oh, Princess, you're going to become this. Look at Michelle Obama. okay, it's all well and good to have Michelle Obama as a role model. Don't get me wrong, she's a role model.
Yeah.
But if you have someone that's more your age that you can relate to, you can understand the real steps and progress that they took to get to where they are. It's so much more relatable. So for me, for any young person who is looking to get into leadership roles, one thing I'll say to yourself is think about it. Who is it that you're trying to inspire? What story are you trying to sell? What story are you trying to give back? How do you want to be a leader? When you become a leader, how do you make sure that those people who are following you are inspired, are learning from you, are taking from you? Because it's one thing to want to be a leader, to get fame, to get publicity, and it's another thing to become a leader so that those behind you can follow your footsteps and eventually get there in one day. I do a lot of pair mentoring sessions, one-to-one mentoring sessions. My mobile phone is open. There's a lot of young people who can call me and say, Princess, I'm going through this issue. Can you help me? I think that's a good example of leadership, because knowledge that I have that I'm able to share with others. Freely you give, freely you receive. That's one thing I know.
Amen.
So for me, it's about the fact that you must, even though God has given me these skills, these traits, has put me in a great position I'm so thankful for, how am I giving back? Giving back in ways that others may not expect. There are times when some young people have sent me messages, wow, Princess, you've been so helpful. You helped me with my CV. Basic things like that. Looking at CVs, helping young people get into employment. Those are things I like to do in my spare time because it's something that I'm good at. And that's why people will forever say that if you are someone in leadership, but you're not impacting those behind you, are you really a leader? Because it's all a well good being a leader, but no one is impacted by you, no one is inspired by you. Then you must put a question mark by yourself. Are you really a leader? So for me, it's if you want to get into leadership, make sure that you're going into leadership knowing that those behind you are benefiting. You can't just be there to get the fame, the glory, the shine. No. If people behind you can't look up to you and say, wow, Councillor Princess Bright, wow, when she was in this, I gained this from her. She helped me with this. She helped me with that. That for me is a definition of leadership.
Wow. Do you know, I'm just, I have short of words. I don't know what to say because the wisdom at your age, I mean, some of us took ages before getting even into those chambers and even being able to disseminate this kind of information. And I'm encouraging my viewers, once again, this is Beacon of Hope talk show, which we present to you every Friday on Facebook and on YouTube, Beacon of Hope, Beacon YouTube. And tonight we've got our youngest councillor in London, who is Councillor Princess Bright, who is a councillor in the London Borough of Buckingham and Dagenham. And she is a chartered accountant. Hey, she has achieved so much. And I'm really encouraging people to ask questions. Now, there is one question that I don't want us to. What are your future plans? Are you going to take on Boris Johnson's steps? Are you planning to be an MP? Or what are your future plans? What are your ambitions in terms of your political life?
So for me right now, of course, I'm a councillor. I've done about to complete one term in office as a councillor. And my long-term goals is to become an MP. And I think I haven't really been quiet about saying that. But it's just about when it's the right time. Whether it's within the next general elections or the one after, I'm not too sure. But I feel like for me, I need to gain more experience because I believe that experience is key. Experience essentially is what will enable you to do your job effectively, correctly, and well. So I believe I need to shadow more people who are currently in the position that I want to be at, and also make sure that I'm ready, because it's all well and good having an opportunity presented to you, but if you're not ready, if you're not ripe enough, then you won't perform well. For me, it's not just about, oh yes, Princess is an MP that is doing her job well. There are some MPs, let me be honest, there are some MPs that I'm sure we can all think about that they're MPs, but just MPs for MP's sake. That I don't want it to be my case. So for me, I would rather be ready to take on that position and to have a good name behind myself, not just the title.
You'd like to be one who delivers. You'd like to be one who has a message. You'd like to be one who will leave a legacy. Definitely.
Yes.
This is all what we aspire to be. The same with us. And I love that idea of you want to shadow, you want to learn more. You just don't want to be there just for the sake of getting the title. That is exactly the trend. Because actually, even when I became a councillor, my first time, I became deputy in different bodies because I wanted to learn. And then after, during my second time, that's when I became the chair of assembly. Now my third time, and obviously, what I got last week, and to the glory of God, this is what I think this is the way to go, because you just don't want to appear there and you can't deliver. You don't know what is expected of you. But once you've shadowed, once you've learned, then you can walk into those offices with full confidence because you know your role, you know what is expected of you. Yeah, so we are really ever so grateful. Now, I still want you to continue talking to the young people. I don't want to bring in more questions because Sharifa, I know Sharifa has got questions. I'll bring her briefly. Sharifa, what questions do you have for our counselor, Princess Bright?
Counselor Bright, I wanted to ask you, and first, congratulations. And it's really interesting. You've spoken something about the God factor. And I always want to say you can be hardworking as much as you can, but if you have God, you're in the right position to. So I like the way you mentioned the God factor. My question for you is, when you're in the chamber and you talked about your mom being a huge inspiration to what you do, I wanted to ask, when you're with her, does she sit down when you get home and she tells you, Princess, my daughter, come? Today, the way you address, do you guys have such situations where, you know, she tells you this, and you listen, and you also advise her back? Because I'd like you to really talk about cross-generational relationship where we're able to impact from the young and the young to the old.
Yes, that's a really, really, really good question. I'm even happy you asked it because I can definitely allude to that question. And yes, answer to that question is yes. I even see myself and my mum as best friends in the sense that we definitely do support each other. So there are times whereby in the council chamber, I may ask a question that my mum, afterwards, she may say, Princess, why did you ask that question? Or what was the reason behind asking that question? Or did you really think before you asked that question? And she will correct me in a way that enables me to learn, not in a condescending way, but from that I'm then able to know, oh, okay, going further, if we have any reports on, for instance, the Treasury bill, because obviously my background is in accounting, so I normally ask about the finance of the council budgets, etc. Before you ask those kind of questions, just think about it a bit more. And even in her respect as well, obviously she sits on the cabinet and she does a lot to do with employment, skills, aspirations, and sometimes I'll give her advice on ways that I've seen gaps or loopholes in like the employment opportunities and prospects for young people, and I'll share that with her. There may be some friends of mine who are planning to do like job fairs or they have ideas, and I'll share it with her just because I want her to continue to improve in her role in cabinet. And I say this, even though she's my mum and she's so much more older than me, she doesn't look down on me and think, oh, okay, I'm not going to take on any advice from this young daughter of mine who I've been training for how many X years. No, she's genuinely very open, and people will see that in the chamber. The relationship I have with my mum, when we're in the chamber, it's not mother and daughter, she's my councillor colleague. And I think my councillor Kangete has already alluded to that today. We are genuinely just colleagues in the chamber, and it has to be like that because you have to be able to separate your personal and family life from working life, and generally that's how it is. But when we leave the chamber and we normally go home together, it's a different case. We'll give each other feedback. Positive, she'll be like, did I speak well? Did I answer well? I'll be like, Mum, did I ask this right question? Or she'll be like, oh, I gave this update, how did it go? And I'll genuinely give her feedback, say, oh, it was good, you spoke too fast. One thing she says to me is that I speak very fast, and I know it is a feedback that I've had at interviews, at panel discussions, that I speak very fast. So she'll be like, you spoke fast again. And I know she's probably going to say something along those lines. But generally, it has helped me. I'm sure Councillor Kangete is laughing because she's listened it when she's chairing the assembly. She's probably witnessed that I speak very fast.
You do.
But yeah, good question. We genuinely do support each other. And that intergenerational relationship, friendship, mother-daughter kind of advice support system is there, and it goes both ways.
I think that's inspiring because it gets to a point as a young woman who's trying to be ambitious where you no longer see your mom as mom. You begin to see her as my friend, my confidant. And then I had a question for you. You talked about leadership and you talked about BAME. And Mama Kangete is going to ask you, what are your future plans? And I wanted to ask you, what are your plans for BAME leadership and women? What are the plans? How can we begin to empower other young women like you and like me and other mothers as well to do this big ambitious things that, you know, can help each other, uplift one another?
So one thing I say in terms of my plans is I've always had long-term goals, and I say long-term goals, not immediate goals, just because right now so much is going on, but I've always had long-term goals to kind of start some sort of empowerment kind of initiative whereby young women can really hair and learn from other young BAME women who are basically excelling in their field, not just within politics, because it's not just political field where BAME women want to be the top of. It's every single field, every single facet of this life. But one thing I do try to do as much as possible is if I have invitations to speak at engagements like this, I will literally have to say yes to everything. I don't try and turn down any engagements where I can meet new young people like yourself or inspire others. And always, I always say after these engagements, whether it's to contact me, email me, call me, I'm always open. If it's one-to-one talks we can have after, meet up for some coffee, I'm always open. That's just my personality. I'm very personable because I know there's a limit to what I can do. I'm still very young, but the little experience that I've gained and where I am today, I'll try and give back as much as I can. But for me, it's also seeing other people who are way ahead of me, what they can give back. And if it's a case whereby I can kind of, this is in my head, some thoughts I've had forums whereby I bring women who are like excelling really high in their fields into one place and really bring young women together to speak to them, explain to them how they got there. Because one thing I wanted to just say is, it's all well and good seeing there's a black woman that's an MD in this company, there's a black woman that's a CEO there. But unless you know the path that they took to get there, the exact steps they took to get there, you won't be inspired. Because yes, it's all well and good saying, yes, there's another black woman that's been promoted to MD. But what did she do? Did she have to have sleepless nights? Did she have to have a nanny to look after her kids so that she could focus on work? Did she not get married early? A lot of young women are not getting married early now because they have to think about their career. They have to focus on other things. What is it that they're doing? So these are the kind of real life conversations and topics that I want to have with women who are excelling in their field, because you have to make sacrifices in life to get to where you want. And whether it's sacrifices in your relationship, sacrifices in your career, sacrifices in your family life, sacrifices in your whatever it is, I want to hear. Because for me personally, if I'm looking to become an MP, I want to hear from the likes of Diana. But what did she do to get there? How did she get there? What was she doing? Abena, and more recently elected MP, what did she do to get there? How did she get there? Because I can only learn by knowing the steps that someone took rather than just seeing them. Yes, it's good to be inspired. I can see, 5 black female MPs, but if I don't know how they got there, I'm not really inspired, to be honest.
You need to know their journey. Yes, you need to know their journey. That's absolutely correct. Yes, that's those are some of the things that people do not know, that there were struggles. Yes. There were sleepless nights for you to be where you are now.
Yes.
I mean, you're not handed on a silver platter.
Yes.
You struggled, you worked hard. It's just like us getting into those council chambers. People do not know how many days we are out knocking on doors. And it's not just knocking on doors, delivering. Sometimes I find a list of emails responding to the residents. Sometimes I have to walk to their premises and witness whatever it is that they need help with. So it's not just getting the title councillor. There is a lot. There is hard work. You really had to be there for the people because they just did not elect you to have that title. There is a lot. Now, I've got a question about young people, and not just young people in leadership. Do you think, according to you, and I'll ask this because do you think when we are empowering so many young, especially the women, do you think that in a way might eventually affect marriages? And I say this because you said so many people are delaying in getting into marriages or even getting children because they want to have a profession. I'm asking the two of you because you are here, two young people who are not married, who are professionals, who are working, who have studied, because even Sharifa here is also well learned. Do you think that in a way might have its negative aspect in
Definitely.
that there'll be delayed marriages, getting children at a later age, which might not be the best thing? What do you think there should be a balance? Okay, over to you, Princess.
I'll speak quickly on this one. 100% definitely. And I say this just real quickly, and then I'll hand over, because now a lot of young women, they are wanting to become independent. They wanted to become empowered. They wanted to, gone are the days whereby the woman stays at home, cleans the house, does the cooking, and the husband goes out to do the work. Of course, we know the man's the head of the house, but women also want to go out there and make something good for themselves, educate themselves. So now you're having couples whereby I wouldn't say there's like that inferiority complex, but there's like that power hurdle between the male and the female, because females now are more switched on. I'm not saying the females in the past were not more switched
more
on,
focused.
They're just more focused, and they just want to go and achieve more for themselves. So when they're out there doing that, marriage, kids, it's not the first thing on their mind. Like even when I look around in the company, I work for an investment bank, there are a lot of women in their 30s, the early 30s, mid 30s. Marriage is not even on their plans. They're trying to become an MD, a director, really push to the next ranks, and then they think about that last. Now, for me, I wouldn't really say that's my issue. I have been told in the past that guys feel intimidated by me. Not that I'm doing it on purpose, but maybe it's just because of how I've carried myself. I'm not sure. I try not to be intimidating. I've got a really baby face, so I don't know how I look intimidating. But I've been told that in the past, and my mum has also tried to encourage me. I had that good conversations with my mum. She always says to me, "Princess, you need to strike a balance. I want to be another grandmother very soon. So please don't just focus, books." Which I'm starting to. Of course, I'm listening to her, but it all takes time. You have to find the right person as well who will encourage you and not dim your light. Because there are guys who, when they see their woman is really that kind of power, struggle, they don't like it. So for me, it's about finding a guy who will encourage me in that respect. But I will hand over so I don't talk too much on this one.
Now, I know, as we call Sharifa, as we bring Sharifa, I've gone through the same, because I got into headship of a school when I was really young. And so that kind of, and I'll say this, it kind of also messed up that stage where I should have been with other friends. I befriended much more mature people, and the job was too hard for me. The duties entrusted on me did not give in that time to be myself. It's just like any child, a child should be let to grow as a child. So there are stages that one might miss, and so we have to be really very, very careful in that. We do not want to be overtaken by events just because we want to be empowered, because at the end of the day, we do not want to have a world full of fully empowered women, and our men are struggling, or they feel like they are put somewhere in a box because these women are too empowered. It is okay, it is good. And don't get me wrong, because I'm one who talks about empowering women. But I think we should always strike a balance. Sharifa, what is your take on this?
This is a very interesting question, because I am also at that stage where I'm being asked, where are the grandchildren, or where are the children? But for me, I'd like to introduce a very important aspect. And I think when you get to I don't know, there seems to be a pressure when you're getting towards your 30s. I think one thing you always have to remember is that God brought us in this world with a proper plan for both of us.
Amen.
So if he wanted you to be juggling career and also relationship and everything, he would have put you in that position. So I want us to go, as young women, to go with that mentality that it's always good for you to have an open mind, as you said, but it's also very important for you to realize that God has a purpose and journey for me. You might meet someone today who will not understand that one. I'm in leadership. I need to sign this off. Or I'm in corporate, for example. I have to spend long hours. I have to do so many calls. And if that person is not my person ordained by God, they will not understand who I am. And so I tend not to really give myself pressure, because I feel like I'll meet the right person when I'm the right place and the way God has destined it to be. Another thing is, you also mentioned, Princess, is the mindset. What are your priorities? You have to tell yourself, let me tell you, you will have a family, but what are you going to feed them with?
Yeah.
You know, there's one time I had one of my aunties saying, love doesn't put food on the table.
Yes.
And true, in the economy that we live in,
Yeah.
what's not going to happen? You have to pay mortgage, you have to pay
Yes.
taxes. So it's for you to sit down and tell yourself, what are my priorities? What are my plans 5 years from now?
Yes.
And then the other thing is, I also get that someone's always like, you're very intimidating. I'm like, wow, I'm so harmless. I'm like a tree hugger. But again, is for you to ask God, what is the balance? God, humble me to be able to really understand what submission is,
Yes.
and not the kind of submission that society talks about,
Yes.
but the one that is clearly ordained by God, so that you have that balance of he's corporate, he's corporate, I'm corporate, but when we meet in the house, we are husband and wife. So not too much, but
that is very true. And I can tell you, I'm coming from that kind of experience where I was told by so many people that I'm really so intimidating, and men would go through a third party just because, and I'm harmless, to be honest, I'll say that. And my darling husband can tell you I am harmless, but because of when you sit there, you are yourself, and you wear that serious face and you want to deliver. I think in a way, it's got its pros and cons. It's just like you cannot have your cake and eat it. You want to be there, but it's also a matter of, when you trust God, when you are waiting upon God, definitely there will be that person who will be bold enough and you can bond. You don't have to push your way, because just leave it open to God. Be in the right place, like you say. Yes, that's very, very important. And being in the right place, this means, looking for the right kind of friendship. Yes, it is very, very important. When we are career women, it becomes very, very, people become very intimidated, especially men. They look at these girls and they think, I don't know whether this is the right woman, because if we go to the house, she might be this woman, this girl who will be telling me I'm the one who is doing this, she might not be obedient enough. So it is a matter of just praying hard, asking God to direct you, because again, like Sharifa said, you just don't want to get yourself there just for the sake of being there, being married, and God. I've seen my son, another son called Ken. I've got another son, another young man who is also in the youth. Myself, I would say marriage, definitely. You can't say you marry yet. You can't feed the lady and the child. Who are you? A new family. So you got to be financially stable to even settle down. That's a young man who's saying this. And he's also born again. He believes that for a man to get married, it's not just a matter of... And my sister Esther Duta says, there is a time for everything. As you all said, place yourself in God's hands. Amen. Now, there's another gentleman who's saying he's joining us from Coventry. Most welcome. That's James. Somebody did ask, do you think now for us having young women, young people in leadership, both men and women, young youth, do you think that might help to eradicate the youth crimes and all the crimes that we have in the streets? And how would that help? What can the young people in leadership do? Because particularly in London, there's lots of knife crime, there's lots of crime, drugs, all the bad things you can talk about. Most of them will be associated with the Black people. Do you think, they getting more young people into positions, do you think that might have an impact on them? Do you think we could have role models in this? Over to you, Princess Bright.
Yes, I definitely believe that having young people in cabinet can help eradicate some of the social issues that have been mentioned. And I say that because the young people are on ground. They know what's happening. They understand the system. They understand it inside out. So they are part of the system. So enable for us to solve a solution, enable for us to basically have a solution, you need to know the problem. Only the young people, of course, not just the young people. Of course, there are people who are much more educated, but the young people being in those cabinet positions can add that sort of extra, should I say, not even experience, but they can add that extra light to the situation because they understand what's going on. They are part of it. As a young person, you see what happens on a day-to-day basis. You're part of group chat, Snapchat, where you're seeing where all these meetups are taking place and things are happening. So when you're part of it, you're then able to be as an external consultant, we can say, to help give some solutions to what's happening. So of course, we need more young people. You can't have the older generation speaking on the younger generation's behalf. It won't make sense because it's gone are the days when things are how our parents have done it is completely different. Things have moved on now. Social media plays a very, 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 very big part in what's happening in this day and age. A lot of the social issues that we are having is based on because of social media. So can you expect our parents to be on Instagram, Snapchat, and all these other kind of new social media platforms that the young people are using? No. So yes, young people definitely 100% need to be part. I definitely agree with that.
Sharifa, do you have any a point? And I've got a young person here who's called James McCavery, who is in Coventry. He says love is maturity. Yes, continue commenting and sending your questions. Unfortunately, we can't bring you in here for tonight. I know he just wants to join in, but I love the way he's really participating. That's a brilliant answer. Pastor Ruth, my sister, Pastor Ruth Merigi says that. And she also loves working with young people. I'm definitely sure that she'll be getting on you soon to go and talk to her youth. Sharifa, what do you have to say about that?
Well, that is a question that really cuts deep. Having an understanding of society, I want to say the first thing is we need to change the narrative. And the people who need to change the narrative are media owners and people who subscribe to media. One, we're not showing there. I know there's so many Black people out there. There's so many BAME people out there who are doing amazing things, but the media will not show you that. So we have to and that's why people feel they are not represented. That's why they would feel we are not part of this system. So one, we need to push to change the narrative.
Absolutely.
BAME BAME boys and girls need to see that, wow, because I know we're BAME people, like us Black women, work so hard. When we begin to sink our claws in, we really put in the work. So we need to start showing these stories that, yes, people are working hard and people. Also, this is a challenge for you, Princess, and also Mama Kangade. I want you to sit down and begin to push for social imbalances in government. You need to start pushing for funds to go to those, to those areas that receive less funding, because you see, poverty is just not a matter of working hard. No, it's a matter of, did you have great access to education? Were you able to get a meal on your plate? Were you able to even have that connect? You see, it's a concoction of so many things that leads these boys and girls to join gangs. So my challenge is to both of you: can we begin to push for equality and equity, especially to the BAME community? And I'm sure we'll begin to see a change with everything that we've done. We need to save our own. We need to begin to pull our own, and we need to push for that change.
Thank you. And that is why I am doing what I am doing. My passion is to see more people into leadership, more people being elevated from where they are, not necessarily people joining politics. You know, there are so many other areas, like Councillor Princess Bright said. There are so many other areas where we could have more of our BAME community participating, other than just hearing every time people say the majority of boys in prisons, BAME. The majority of people in jails, the majority of people in police custody, all these things, all the bad things. When there's stabbing, the first question will be, were they Black? You know, all these things. When there's drugs being trafficked, and where the human trafficking, all these things, country range people, you'll be like, were they Black people? We can eradicate this. Yes, we can help. It's very, very possible. We can do it. We can end this. And I know, oh my God, our time comes. I know Princess has got a function. She goes to church on Fridays. And Princess, because I know I'll be bringing you back, I know people have not had enough of this, because I am sure people have got questions, more questions on your leadership skills, how you've managed and what you are doing, and how we can inspire more young people to join, to be in your position or even better, because that is my desire, that when I get somebody into a role, I would like that person to do even much more better. I would like to mentor somebody to be better than I am, because in the course of my mentorship, I have gone through mistakes. So I will teach that person not to follow the same mistakes that I made. So what's your parting shot so that I can just come back? I can see Shekoyem saying we should always look out for opportunities to educate in our respective workplaces or communities. Amen. That's right. That's right. And then Esther Duta says, I would say integration. That is my desire, that color will be for defining beauty. Absolutely, yes. And that's what I believe in. All the time I've been chairing even those meetings, I sit in that chamber. I never think about the color, my color. I don't think about it at all. I don't. I see beyond that. And this is what Councillor Bright started with. Your mindset. So, Princess Bright, what is your parting shot tonight as you end as a counselor, as a person who has done so well in education, as a Christian? Combine all those and let's hear your parting shot.
Thank you very much for having me today. And a message I just want to leave with the young people who are listening, especially, is don't give up on your hopes. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your aspirations. You will get there one day. With hard work, determination, tenacity, and focus, you will get there. For me, I think I've reiterated mindset. As long as you have the right mindset, you know what you want and you know how you're going to accomplish that with documenting short, medium, and long-term goals, you will get there at one point in time. Just don't give up.
What would you tell the parents too? Because they're watching, they're the majority actually.
To parents, I would say try to be as supportive of your children's dreams and aspirations. Don't force them into doing something that you want them to do. If you see that they have a keen passion for being a creative, then support them. Support is very, very important. I was so lucky enough to have support from both of my parents. And even if you're a single parent, just be as supportive as you can to your child, your children, because they will never forget this. Even me, now I'm 26, I still mention my parents anytime I'm called to speak about my role in politics, because they have been my support system. So try and be there for them. Try and be that listening ear for them. Try and be as involved in what they're doing, and just ask them general questions, just so that you can know what's happening in their life. Because as I said, social media is taking over a lot of things. So as a parent, as long as you know your child very well and you're supportive of them, you should definitely see that they will continue to be as open and honest with you as they can be.
Wow, beautiful. Viewers, tonight, I mean, it's not like those days when we go beyond. I did agree with my daughter, Councillor Princess Bride, that I'll make sure that by 7, because she's got to go to church. Yes, she serves in all these capacities, and she doesn't want her mom to start calling her. And by the way, she's also ministering to youth on Sunday. She does. And I'll post that on my Facebook page so that we can follow her. We can learn from her, because this is not the end. That was just a glimpse of what she does. And I would like us to learn much, much more from her, because definitely if she has achieved and shown us that it's possible, our young people should also learn and follow suit, because with God, all things are possible. So once again, viewers, I'll be left with Sharifa. This has been Beacon of Hope, our Friday talk show. And tonight we had a very beautiful girl, my daughter, who is Councillor Princess Bright, who is a member in Buckingham Dagenham. And she, at that age, she has done so much. And I'm really, really proud for all the wisdom that she has shared. Thank you so much, Councillor Bright. My regards to mom and dad and everybody else. I'm sure we'll see you soon in the chambers.
Thank you very much, everyone.
God bless you. Take care. The sky is the limit. We love you. See you soon.
Thank you. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And keep pushing. Wave the flag.
Thank you, Sharifa. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Right, Sharifa, here we go. What do you think about that talk tonight? You are also a young leader, and, what do you think? What is missing? Where is the link? What do we need to do?
The link, I think the topic was very timely. Very, very timely, because one, it's very important when you're in leadership, whatever you're doing, when you're doing your studies, in your family, in your workplace, you need God. That's the most important thing. As a Christian, there are challenges that will come to you. And yes, the Bible did not say the challenges will not come, but the challenges are supposed to be there to push you and grow you to be a better person. And also, it's very encouraging to see other young women as well who are very passionate about leadership, about growth, and discipline. Discipline is so important. I know she talked about how it's challenging. You have a calendar, but then sometimes that juggling becomes such a huge challenge where you're like, oh man, what do I need to do? What time will I do this? The other day I sat down to myself and I was like, what? 24 hours for me are no longer enough. Like, I sat down and I realized like 24 hours are not enough. But you see, now when you're a Christian, I think Christianity comes with some sort of discipline that I really admire a lot. But I mean, for Princess, she's really inspired me. And I think one of the greatest things that really helped me in my journey is that I like to sit with young men and women and start to listen to them. Because I realized that what I see, what I've not seen, they've seen. And so they really impact me a lot. And I really want to challenge more mature women or young women who are also growing. Do not ignore the advice or the counsel of those that are younger than you. Because our experiences of this world are very, very different. My experiences
things are changing now.
Exactly. Things are changing. And I feel that you need that extra eyes and ears to listen so that you're able to propel forward in life. It's even with your career, even with your relationships, with everything, it's very important to have a listening ear. And parents, thank you so much for pushing us and encouraging us and also growing us in the faith. I think parents, the older you grow, you realize that, a parent is telling you to go to church, not because they want you to see, they just want to see you in church. It's because that relationship, your personal relationship and faith with God is something that will propel you to the next level in life. So thank you so much.
Amen. I really appreciate you also. Just to tell people that Sharifa joins me because I'm also mentoring her because I want her to be the next one here. She's here with us in London. But on top of that, Sharifa is in charge of Tap Tap in the whole of Europe now. So whenever I bring her, it's because I'm also encouraging her to tell people more about Tap Tap, because people need to send support home. People need to know all the changes, all the good things. Would you like to switch now and talk more about Tap Tap?
Okay.
And just to say, I've got a new person here, a client, Esther Aduta, who really didn't believe, she had never, and she's just full of praise. She downloaded it and she's happy, and she can witness there. Right, over to you.
So one thing I'm very passionate about is development and the impact of my Kenyan society and my Kenyan people. And I was just discussing with someone how much money is sent back by people in the diaspora, and that's $3 billion US. That was spent in 1 year. So I just want to say that if you compare that amount, the money sent home in terms of remittances surpasses the amount that is used by aid. This is what USAID, UKAID, all these organizations send back to developing countries. So guys, if we're sending money to develop our society, to develop our country, why should we not look for better avenues that will help us send money at the lowest possible cost? And that's why Tap Tap Send is here. We want to allow you to buy a pair of shoes for a boy who's going to school. We want you to be able to build your clinics. We want you to upgrade your local maternity in your level 5 hospital. And that's why Tap Tap Send is here. I personally was educated by remittance money, and I know how that £1, that 5 shillings can go a long way. So guys, download Tap Tap Send. Let's send money back home, and also let's work together. I'm really passionate about how Tap Tap Send can work with the community. Let us uplift one another. Let us work together. We are not here. Last week was International Remittance Day, and I actually put out a post and I said, we are committed to ensuring that migrants are able to send money back home. And that is why we will never charge anyone to send money back home, because we know how important this money is. So download the app. If there is a problem, reach out to me and tell me, Sharifa, I wasn't happy with this. I didn't like this. And I'm so happy, really, because I want to take that feedback and sit down and say, I want my people happy. So download the app and use Mom's code. That's Liz254. Use her code. You get a bonus. Yes, every time you send money back home, or the first time you send money back home. And I'm sure your experience there will continue to propel you to send money back home. Tap tap me.
Tap tap. And you can see a happy customer, Esther. I tapped in the tap tap by a tap, and I was able to tap out. There is our new slogan. I'm gonna borrow that. Thank you, my sister. Thank you
so much, Mom. I'm very honored to always be in your show, and I'm blessed to have you mentoring me. And I'm sure we'll have many girls. We talked about a mentorship program.
We did.
So we shall see how to. But thank you.
There we go. It's almost started. When we have the kind of people we are bringing, and you can see another one, Tuma Kitu. That's my brother Lucas, the chairman of Southeast London Kenyans, and he's been here. He's one of our greatest support, and I really, really want to appreciate everybody tonight for all your beautiful comments. I don't take anything for granted for you being here. I don't want to say like in Kenya, your bundles. We don't need the bundles, but obviously your time. For those of us in Kenya, because I can see some people in Nairobi, in Machakos, in Narok. I know you had your bundles, and I don't want to take this for granted. You pay for your bundles so that you can be here with us. And I just want to bless God for you. I want to thank God for you that you are here. I can see my daughter Dama Ben all the way in Machako says that was a great show. I can see my daughter Naomi Joel in Roiro. She says that was a great show. I can see Powerhouse Narok. They were here, tuned in, and they say they are blessed. Mary Okoro in UK, Reverend Bonnie, who is our son. Thank you, Mom. Great show. Yes, all the way in Cardiff. I can see Lucas Kamau from Southeast London. I'm sure you have shared with the youth. We need all our youth. My tap friend, and I can see Evangelist Kezia Wambo, and you have requested. I'll see, because at the moment, my own, I've got the Facebook page, but my own, I know you've requested, I've seen that. I'll try and see who has not communicated. Ken Gates, my son, doing very, very well. Naomi, daughter, yes, I can see. I can see James from Coventry, well done. Pauline Jenga, we blessed that for you. Thank you so much. Shekoyemu, yes, another young leader, yes, I can see. My darling Bishop BK, who's been my greatest support, my prayer partner, he prays for me. Esther Duta is in Leicester. Yes, I say Bishop BK, who's my encourager, my prayer partner, my darling. You know, before I come here, he has to encourage me. He has to tell me it's possible, because we all need that pat on the back. And when I've not done it, well, he'll tell me, this bit, you should have done this, or you know, which is what we need. Yes, Esther Duta, integration. Yes, I can see that. Pauline Jenga once again. My sister Jane, my sister Ruth Mweregi, who is also a pastor. I can see you are there. Anwar Richi, another daughter of God. I can see you are there, all of you. If you are there, you came in. Oh, my sister Dorcas Kipruto, great show, well done. Thank you so much. I can see I also had Pastor Mary Truthi was here. Now, what I would urge you to do, please, as a special request, share so that anybody, I know Friday evenings, they are tight times for us. Some people have got church, some people are working, you know, this is the time to prepare for the weekend. People are going out and all that. If you share on your page, whoever missed, you come and watch after this, and you can also watch with your children after this, because it's been a lovely show. I have loved all the challenges we got from Princess Bright. You know, she opened up her heart, shared how to get our young people into leadership, even about studies, about relationships, about friendships, all these. Agree na kuona unafika kama umechelewa. Follow after this, share, or also follow for you are there. Amarigo, good to see you, my sister. Also, please, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beacon of Hope Beacon. Beacon of Hope Beacon. I would love to see as many of you on Beacon of Hope Beacon. Beacon of Hope Beacon. Please subscribe. The subscription has been low. People just want to watch on Facebook Live, but I would urge you to subscribe to my Beacon of Hope Beacon, and then you can see all the other programs, because we do invite moms, we do invite children, we do invite leaders, we do invite all sorts of people. Binti Africa, yes, you missed, but can you, if you share, you will be able to follow that. Yes, she's one of us who never miss, but we've got all these things happening. So definitely, it's not the end of the world. You will follow. So once again, thank you so much, Sharifa, for being there. And definitely, let's encourage our people. Continue using tap to send money home. Is the easiest, is the best. No hidden charges. Instant money transfer. And I do it, even if it's £5. If somebody wants just support of £5, I do send, because the exchange rate is very high. Somebody was asking me the other day, you said the exchange rate is high. It's only 148, and the other day it was 150, and I told them to compare with another one I don't like naming, and found the other one was 145. So definitely it still remains high. So tap, please, and let us support. It's one of us. It's our business. Let us support it. Let us grow it. Yes, I don't want to go there, but yes, let us support. Mnaenda kuchukua za wazungu na watu wetu hamtaki wacha tusaidiane. Yes, those in our time zone tonight. Now it's going to, yes, 7ish. Good time. We've done well. So asanteni sana. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord do you good. Subscribe, share. Thank you, Sharifa. I'll talk to you behind the tent.
Uko nyuma. And na mbarikiwe.
Yes. So thank you so much. I'll be inviting you also to talk about more about yourself and all that. But you're always there. You're always there. So anytime. Right. God bless you. Agree. Yes. You watch the recording and please share. Yes. Thank you. Good night, Esther Duta, to those of you in our time zone. But you know the ones in Kenya, it's a bit late, but they're still there. And I really want to appreciate. So everybody, once again, thank you ever so much for your patience, for being with us, for following, for subscribing, for being with me, and, even your questions. And I'm sure this has been a learning experience for each one of us. So watch out for the next guest every Friday, same time, 6 p.m. I'm always here with a new guest. and you don't know what I'm bringing next. But I always like motivational speeches, inspiring teachings where people can learn. I want us to be motivated in different fields. It's not just in leadership. Don't say, oh, this one is a counselor, that's why. No. I bring all sorts of people because I believe learning never ends. Yes, Mom and Sharifa, God bless you. Yes, Evangelist Kezia Wabui, thank you ever so much. And Gray, yes, you better go and watch that. We don't want you to miss. So please, God bless you. Have a blessed weekend. Tomorrow night, not forgetting, we have Bishop now with the other bit of Beacon of Hope that is on family. That one, I produce it, but it's Bishop BK who presents that. And at the moment, you're talking about families and finances, which is a big issue, So don't miss out. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have our church service, which has been online, but we'll be announcing that from next week on the 4th of July, we'll be going back to our premises and times might change a bit. It might be earlier, but we'll still be appearing live. But for this Sunday, we are still here. And tomorrow we are here for the Beacon of Hope family program. So thank you ever so much to everybody. I just can't thank you enough for your patience, for being with us, for always supporting us, for not leaving us. You never tire, I mean, I just cannot say enough words to say that we really appreciate you. We are so proud of you because the program, if I came here and spoke and there were no people following, it wouldn't be a good program. So our talk show is you and you. Share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord do you good. We love you. We love you. May the Lord bless you. May he meet with your needs according to his riches in glory. If you have got any questions, any issues, if you'd like us to support you with leadership, anything that we can do for you, we are right a phone call away. DM me and I'll do that. People are asking me, I've got so many requests. At the moment, my Facebook page, my personal one is full, over 5,000 people. But I've opened the Beacon of Hope page, which I'll be sharing, and my own page also outside my personal one. So God bless you. We love you. We are signing off from the London Borough of Buckingham, Dagenham, where the weather is beautiful. We are enjoying our summer now. We love you. Those of you who are far, keep safe. I know we have heard of the COVID, the Delta variant. Keep safe, please. Be safe. We want you to meet. You better be safe. We want to meet up in summer. God bless you. God bless you wherever you are. We love you. We end up with tap, tap. I love this. I like to remind you the easiest, the safest, the best way to send support to people in Kenya. This weekend, send £10, £5. Yes, download, subscribe, go and use it. Let's see. So God bless you. We love you.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumakitu.
Tumakitu. Good night all. Much love. We love you. God bless you. You're signing off, but reminding you, keep an eye on this, and particularly our YouTube channel, Beacon of Hope Beacon, for more programs. Thank you ever so much. Have a good night. God bless you. Good day wherever you are. Bye-bye.